Hey everyone, it's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Eldritch Moon.
We're back.
We are back.
Back after, we haven't been away as far as the listeners are concerned.
Right.
But we didn't actually record anything last week.
Haha, secret.
Tricky. Actually, it's not even a secret. I wrote it in the show notes.
I know.
Oh, okay, you saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. But we're back recording for this week again, Commander's Brew.
For the first time ever, me, Sean Tabaris, and Andy Hull married.
That's right. A married man these days. Last weekend was my wedding. And if anyone tells you that a wedding is not a lot of work, they're lying to you straight up.
No one has ever said a wedding is
They're
not
lying
a lot
to
of
you.
work.
Don't believe them.
No one has ever said that.
Good, because it's not true. And it's a lot of work, and it's you think you're going to be able to do your normal stuff, and then you can't.
That's why we've planned events. We recorded a couple in advance.
Yep.
So yeah. Now we're back to like our regular schedule briefly.
Yep.
So yeah, we're recording this. If you're listening to this the day it came out, we recorded this probably yesterday or earlier today.
Or earlier on the same day, yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Possibly.
Depending on what happens later.
Yeah.
Got a lot to do still. Ha! Anyways, but yeah, this is the Eldritch Moon episode.
Eldritch Moon spoilers. We're going to do one of these every set if you haven't already noticed. A bunch of new legendaries always come out, and we're going to brew a couple of takes on those legendaries.
That's right. As we always do, keeping it at a budget.
Yep.
$50 US, which is increasingly difficult.
Man.
Commander is becoming a more and more popular format of Magic the Gathering, and more people are playing it, which is great. But of course, when the demand goes up, the supply tends to go down, and those prices go up. So we always notice a couple cards that are, used to be a bulk, 50 cents, less than $1, that pop up over $1, $2 now, and
now they appear on our top 3 most expensive card list. It's surprising to me.
It's surprising.
I'm like, why is this card top 3?
But one of the good things about this game we play is that they keep printing good stuff for Commander in these new sets. So Eldritch Moon's no exception to that. We got some really great stuff in there. Okay, so but first, before we get into all the business of talking about, Eldritch Moon and all the spiders and zombies we're going to be making, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler.
We've got an ad from the Wizard's Tower.
Yes, we do.
That's our sponsor, wizardtower.com. So yeah, check it out. Here it is.
And now it's time for a bedtime story. Good night, Eldritch Moon. Good night, zombies with tentacles. Good night, kitten with a snake for a tail. Good night, Wizard's Tower, wizardtower.com. Good night, free shipping in Canada with orders of singles $15 or more, and free shipping to the US with orders of singles $10 or more. Good night, Tower of Brews as a coupon code for an extra 5% off those orders. Good night, 3% kickback on your next order. Good night, Emrakul. And that's our bedtime story. Some of it was amazing, and a lot of it was terrifying. And because I was saying goodnight to all those Wizard Tower things, that doesn't mean that that's ending. That's still going on, and that's their thing. They're going to keep doing that, but it just fits the theme of the kids' book, right? Right. Nighty-night.
Aha, what a sweet bedtime story, sort of.
Sort of. Sounds creepy to me, really.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a bedtime story similar to it, but this one would not put me to bed nicely.
No, this one will have you dreaming of tentacles growing out of your head and stuff.
But also great deals on cards.
But great deals. Honestly, Tower Brews, always.
Yeah,
okay?
always.
Everyone remember that. wizardtower.com. Great. So let's get into the meat.
Yeah. Meat time.
The meat and potatoes. We're doing Eldritch Moon, and like we said, there are some cool legendaries. Everyone's talking about Brizella.
Yeah, tough to brew, right? So so we didn't go with the angel pair, right? Bruna and Gisela, because I think Gisela's already very expensive.
Yeah, Gisela looking like it's going to be a good card for Standard, yeah.
And it's tough to get that going in Commander. It's tough to get both of your... It's mono-white, either one you pick. So one's got to tutor for the other one somehow, and then you got to get them both to live. And even if you get all that to happen, you're only blocking spells with CMC 3 or less, which is like... I mean,
and you got a big, like, what is like a 9/7 or something
yeah,
like
it's
that?
a monster
Pretty
creature,
good.
but like, throw in Artisan of Kozilek, right? Whatever.
Right, sure. So yeah, it's and I mean Jimmy and Josh did a good take on it over on the Command Zone. If you haven't listened to that one, check that one out. They brew. They don't do a lot of brews these days, but they did a good Brazella. I like that episode a lot.
Yeah, me too. The other legendary we could have used was the legendary werewolf. I'm sure we all have opinions on that, so we're not going to do that.
We do. And you know what? It's good you mentioned that because I did want to mention it briefly on our show because we did a werewolf episode with as well as a what was it?
Missing artifact commander.
Right.
So like an is it artifact leader. Yeah.
So I built that werewolf deck, and I was, we talked about what we would want and what would be great for a werewolf commander, and yeah, I mean, we all know that they just didn't really deliver on that for us. Yeah.
No, they did not.
And I was never, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of the people who was like begging for a werewolf commander by any stretch. Like, I don't think werewolves are good in EDH, so I don't even care. But the opportunity was there to make a great commander that could make them good and make it a viable, still somewhat janky tribal deck. But it didn't come together. It's disappointing.
Well, what do people want in a tribal commander? Do they want one creature that will tie it all together, that will make that deck all of a sudden good? Because that's not going to happen for most tribes. Like if all of a sudden they give us, I mean, Ailey was a great creature, so that gave us clerics. But like, is there? I'm sure there's an ooze too. I'm racking my brain for like a card that's like, well, if they give us a cool centaur, it's like someone's going to love to do a centaur deck. There's no awesome centaurs in the game that I would build around, but someone will be very happy putting any centaur leader just to complete the thing. I think those people want that werewolf deck.
Right. Yeah.
Those people are happy. The people who want a tuned deck that can win aren't building a werewolf deck to begin with.
True.
So who cares?
But, I mean, at the same time, if I want to do, if we have a meta like ours where it's not super hype tuned, you can bring a fairly, dirtily kind of deck or a kind of janky tribal thing and still get off a win once in a while and still have fun doing it. And
True.
You just want something that ties it together a bit better than, I get to fight something when I transform or whatever it is, right? And I get to pump one guy. Anyways, a bit of a disappointment, but I mean, it's there. You got it. So if you really want to make that werewolf deck, you also got a werewolf planeswalker. This one,
man.
This stat. So not too bad, right?
Cut it out.
So yeah, quit it.
Quit whining.
Bottom line, quit whining. Yeah.
So who did we build around?
So who did we pick? Who did we pick then?
Okay, so I picked to build around the legendary creatures Gisa and Geralf. Gisa and Geralf, Gisa and Geralf. No one knows.
It's got to be Geralf, right? And then the Gisa or Gisa, it's got.
I think Gisa.
I think Gisa.
I think Geralf, like
Geralf.
Gerald.
Yeah, exactly.
But Geralf.
Yeah, we've got a precedent for the Geralf.
And Gisa like Lisa.
Yeah, but is it a hard or a soft G? Who knows?
Well, is it a hard or a soft L in Lisa?
Well, hold on. Hang on now.
Okay. Let's read it.
Yeah.
2 blue blacks. This is a Dimir commander. Legendary creature, human wizard. I feel it should be human wizards. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a 4/4. When Gisa and Geralf enter the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into the graveyard. During each of your turns, you may cast a zombie creature card from your graveyard. It's basically mini Carador, but we got blue now.
Right.
And it's got to be zombie. It can't be any creature. It's got to be a zombie creature.
It's Carador for zombies.
Yeah. So instead of black, green, white, we get black, blue.
Right.
Which is, kind
Which
of
is
interesting.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard some people kind of moaning about this a little bit too and saying like, well, Grim Grin is still a better commander or whatever is still a better commander. I don't know. If I'm building zombie tribal, I mean, this is the one. Is it not?
This is going to be great. But also, like, what do you can't always have better and better legendaries every set.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else by now we would be at like, oh, do you need a vampire lord? Okay, it's 2 black for a 9/9 flying.
Yeah.
All vampires are hexproof, indestructible,
Yeah.
trample, life. Like
It's just
what do you want?
Yu-Gi-Oh. You'd be turned into
What do you
Yu-Gi-Oh.
want?
I hear. I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah.
People, because the meld, right? That's why everyone's
People are
worried
talking
about
about that a little bit, yeah.
Anyway,
But that's what happens when your power creep gets out of control, and Magic does a great job.
I'm gonna go on record saying Wizards of the Coast, R&D, you guys are doing a great job.
Yep, I agree. I think they're doing a great job. So Gisa and Geralf. It's interesting that they decided to stick these two together on a card. I like that.
Yeah.
I do, because they each have their own individual cards. You put them together to make a gold card. What great flavor on that. I love it.
Yeah. A lot of the other 2-person cards, we've never met those two people, so
Exactly,
who cares?
yeah,
But these
yeah.
are 2 individuals. It's like they're already melded. I wonder if they tried doing this as a meld, but then they were like, too many melds. Let's just make them a gold.
Yeah, the meld seems to be more of an Eldrazi horror type thing
That's true.
also. But
That's
maybe
true.
they thought about doing that with these two, but then they're like, no, you know what? Let's keep them as like the 2 heroes.
They love each other.
They love each other. So Sean's got zombies. Sean's got Gisa and Geralf, and I have kind of similar to the werewolf commander, I guess, the spider commander.
Spider!
Ishkana, Graf Widow. And Ishkana Graf Widow is a 5-mana creature, 4 and a green for a 3/5 with reach, legendary spider, classic. It has delirium. When Ishkana Graf Widow enters the battlefield, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, put 3 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach onto the battlefield. So you actually hopefully you get 4 creatures when you cast her, if you've got delirium. And then she has the ability of 6 and a black. Target opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control. So first things first, obviously you want to make a lot of spiders. She comes out putting down spiders. That's great. Second of all, Spider Tribal is finally available.
That's
it
what I'm
seems.
saying. Yeah, like now we have a spider leader. We can make a spider deck. Regardless if the spider deck is good or not, people are going to make it.
Yeah, and that's what we did. That's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah.
And definitely can tell you that they haven't made a lot of good spiders,
Okay.
for sure. But there are cards that work well with this, and they're pushing the spider angle a bit more. I mean, we're going to talk about this card a lot, but Arachnogenesis is something that'll come up quite a bit. But yeah, it's exciting. I saw this card and I was very, very excited because I love this new thing of making a 2-color commander by using the activated ability cost.
So genius.
Right? I think that's so great. So you can splash black in this deck if you want, right?
Yeah.
And still have it work out. So that's good.
They're saying this card might be standard playable.
Yes.
So, I mean, one of the things we are a budget podcast, but when we do brand new commanders, we approach the idea that like maybe you open one of these in your pre-release or release sealed. So that's kind of our take on this. If this card ends up being $20, we wouldn't do this deck, but like we don't know yet. So that's the caveat we put for our like spoiler.
Yeah, and like you're going to be drafting this set obviously when it first comes out, maybe in real life out of your F&M or whatever. And if you pull this guy, maybe it's just better to keep it and use it as a commander anyways, right? So anyway, that's how we look at that going into it. So let's get in. What's the game plan on these decks? What's going to happen with zombies?
Well, Gisa and Geralf bring zombies out of the graveyard, so we want to make a bunch of zombies. We want to make those zombies as big as possible, as many as possible, and we want to keep making them come back. They're expendable because we can bring them back.
That sounds like a zombie to me. It sounds exactly like what a zombie wants
Perfect.
to do. Spiders, same thing. We want a lot of spiders because that second ability on Ishkana is really good. Is it Ishkana or Ishkana? Who knows?
Most
right?
people I've heard saying Ishkana.
Ishkana. Okay. I'll continue to follow the leader then. Make lots of spiders. There's like part of a token strategy here, although as you'll see, there are not very many cards that make spider tokens. So you kind of have to go this like half swarm ability, but also half just have a lot of spiders and things that benefit the same tribe. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's kind of a tough deck to put together. I found it very similar to the werewolves. There's not a lot of individual good spiders, but yeah, we'll take a look. All right, Sean.
Okay, so the first category I want to talk about for Gisa and Geralf, who cares, is is specifically Eldritch Moon cards that support this whole zombie theme. The zombie deck got amped from this specific set. Number 1, Crypt Breaker. A single black mana for a 1/1 zombie. And for the activated ability of 1 and a black, tap, discard a card, which is good because Gisa and Geralf can cast it.
You can just cast it. It's just like it's still in your hand, really.
Right? Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. That's great. And tap 3 untapped zombies you control. You draw a card. You lose 1 life. Once you got a dozen zombies on the field, which is not that hard to do, cards come for free.
Do you think this will be standard playable?
Oh boy. If there's a zombie deck, heck yeah. This
right?
already is, spoiler alert, is already on the top 3 most expensive cards of the deck.
Ooh.
It might rocket out of our budget range before too long.
Wow. So get them now, I guess, maybe, right?
I mean, if you really want one.
Okay, cool.
Next one I want to talk about is Graph Harvest. For a single black, we get an enchantment from Eldritch Moon that says zombies you control have menace. That's amazing, right? If zombies want to attack in huge hordes, if I've got 12 little mini 2/2s coming at you, what are you going to do? You need 24 creatures to block all of them, right? It's so annoying. So that's great. And on top of that, you get the ability, 3 and a black, exile a creature card from your graveyard, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. I probably won't want to use this very much because I want creatures in my graveyard because Gisa and Geralf are going to cast them. But I was doing a bit of thinking on it. How many turns is a game of Commander? You can only do this once per turn, right? So, it takes you a few turns to get Gisa and Geralf out.
Wait, why can you only do it once per turn?
Gisa and Geralf can only...
Oh, you mean them. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Graph.
No, yeah.
Graph Harvest.
Graph Harvest, you can make as many zombies as you want. But I was thinking, there comes a point where you won't be able to recast all your creatures anyway. So you can start to use this ability. It's not a total waste on the card, but you just got to be careful when you use it.
Right, sure. Yeah. That happens with Carador too, where you're like, well, some of these guys I don't even really need anymore. So those occasional things that exile creatures from graveyards, you can just go ahead and use
take
them.
it.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally we got Newsgraph Mob, which is a natural crazy combo with Gisa and Geralf. First of all, it's 4 black for a zombie. This is a zombie. We can cast it from the graveyard. It enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. So it starts as a 0/0, but it will actually be a 5/5 with all those counters. Whenever a player, any player, casts a spell, remove a +1/+1 counter from Newsgraph Mob. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield.
Wow.
If enough spells get cast around the table before it comes back to me, well, I'll just cast this again with Gisa and Geralf and get more zombies, right?
Why, I'll just cast this again.
Right? Eldritch Moon, so good for the zombie decks.
That's awesome. This card is really neat.
Yeah.
It just generates tokens for you as the turns go on, right?
This is not a +1/+1 counter themed deck, but this card would go amazing in that kind of deck.
That's
if you can get a dozen counters on this guy, hello, dozen zombies.
Wow, awesome. Okay, cool. Strong support there from Eldritch Moon. That's a nice category to have in this particular episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of spider support there is for Eldritch Moon. There's a couple I saw, but we don't really focus on those. But let's look at what spiders we do have. Okay.
Yes.
So the first one, and this is one that I've always wanted to use in Commander, which is kind of funny because it's obviously not really built for Commander. It's called Arachnus Spinner. It's 5 and a green for a 5/7 reach spider. It's got reach. All the spiders have reach. So I'll tell you when a spider doesn't have reach. How about that? It says on it, though, tap an untapped spider you control, search your graveyard and or library for a card named Arachnus Web, and put it onto the battlefield attached to target creature. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. It's okay. 6 mana for a 5/7 with reach. That's a pretty big body, and it's not terrible. It's kind of a vanilla E creature in that it just has reach. But this extra ability, how good is this, right? What's Arachnus Web?
What is Arachnus Web? This suspense is killing me.
What is Arachnus Web? And we know we can only have one, so we know you can only search for the one.
But what is it?
Okay, Arachnus Web is an aura, and it's cost 2 and a green. And it says, enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. At the beginning of the end step, if enchanted creature's power is 4 or greater, destroy Arachnus Web.
because they're too strong for the web.
Yeah, so that part sucks.
That
for
part
sure.
sucks
That
big
part
time.
sucks so bad. Why couldn't it just be an arrest? You know. Anyways, so Arachnus Web. So what it'll do is, though, it is a neat little way to shut down some utility creatures. You can shut down some commanders this way.
Yep.
You know, obviously they have a bit of a way out for it, but at the same time, you have a way to just get it back. As long as Arachnus Spinner is out there, you can just tap any spider and get this back, enchanting the same creature again. So it's actually kind of hard to get it off of a creature. That is 4 or less, anyways. So Arachnus Web worth the slot, I think, in the deck, because the card, you got another way of getting it and stuff like that, right?
Most creatures that are going to have less than 4 power are in the deck because they have something like a wicked activated ability,
Yep.
or a wicked when this creature deals combat kind of thing.
Yep.
They're not in there because they're just a 3/3, right? There's a reason for it. So Arachnus Web will take care of that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Shutting down that activated ability is a nice bonus on it.
What that does, Jaleva.
Yeah. Well, no,
She can't
that's
attack
trigger.
or block.
She can't
but-
attack or block.
Right, so it does shut her down.
Her thing is a triggered ability, but it stops, like, I don't know, so many things. Varel of the Hulklate, any of the
Yep.
guild mages.
Yep.
You know, lots of things. All right, the next spider we have is Silklash Spider. This one is, I put this in a lot of decks just because it's got such great utility. It's 3 and 2 green, so 5 mana for a 2/7 spider. And it says X green. Silklash Spider deals X damage to each creature with flying. Let me tell you something. If you have a spider tribal deck in your meta, don't play a deck that's all flyers, because you'll never be able to kill that person, because every spider has reach, and everything that has to do with spiders just kills flying things.
Yeah, spiders
Every single
hate
thing.
flyers.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of the like instants that have spiders and webs on them in the art and stuff, and it's just about killing creatures with flying. It's great. So, and Silklash Spider is the granddaddy of them all. Just X green, and you can just basically destroy every creature with flying if you want.
Well, and this plus the Arachnus Spinner, the last spider you talked about, they both have 7 toughness.
Yeah.
So, like, there are very few flyers already who are getting through there without help.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's tough.
Like, not to mention, like, and if there is, like, it would have to be like a 2020 flyer for this to get through, and for like
To not have to worry about Silklash Spider, right?
Yeah, that's it. You got to have a Voltron enormous flyer.
Because if someone does play that 9/9, flyer that, I don't know, whatever if it even exists, like Silklash Spider can still deal with it if it's late in the game.
Yeah.
And there's another card that can deal with it at whatever point in the game. It's Stinger Fling Spider. I actually see people putting this in decks a lot of the times. Just normally. It's 4 and a green for a 2/5 with reach. When Stinger Fling Spider enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature with flying.
That's amazing.
It's great.
There's always one out there that's annoying.
Always one out there. Classic 1/8/7 creature. And again, commander loaded with great creatures on the ground that you can block with the spider, as well as in the air, and then you can just kill the biggest flying threat. It's actually really good.
The one that your spiders can't already take care of, well, here's Stinger Fling.
Exactly. Here it is. So yeah, that's the deal with spiders, though. They're big butts.
They cannot lie.
They cannot lie. They can block flyers, and that's kind of the whole thing that they do. That's kind of it. These are the 3 best ones.
Okay.
There's like 1 or 2 others that I could have put in here, but these are basically the best ones.
Sure.
So then we'll talk synergy later on, but let's get back to the zombies for a sec.
Okay, since we're going to be making a lot of zombies, we'll always have a fairly big board. The next category I want to talk about for Gisa and Geralf are things to make your zombies big, right? Now, I want to highlight this category because there's a lot of zombie lords that are very expensive. I don't have the names up here, but like there's some that are like $10 or whatever. They give all your zombies regeneration and all a bunch of powers and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways to make a big zombie team without spending a lot of money. Paragon of Open Graves. Unfortunately, not a zombie. It's a skeleton warrior, but it's 3 and a black. It says for a 2/2, it says other black creatures you control get +1/+1. Basically, every creature in here is black. There's a couple of mono blue ones, but it's going to make all your little zombie tokens into 3/3s, basically.
Yeah, that's the important part.
And Not to mention, 2 and a black, tap. Another target black creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. This is huge because Death Touch is one of the best deterrents for people attacking you in Magic, in my opinion. Maybe these giant reach spiders would also deter. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you could kill one of my guys, but were you going to trade a zombie token for your 5/5? No, I don't think so. And it's just threat of activation. Another way to make your zombies bigger, Diregraph Captain. This guy's kind of like the chief of all the zombies. He was from original Innistrad block. He's 1 blue black for a Death Touch 2/2 zombie. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. Again, in this deck, that's basically all creatures minus the occasional like Paragon of Open Graves. Whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life.
Oh, I always forget that's on this creature.
Yeah.
I always forget that ability is there.
Yeah.
Because it's so much packed into one card. It's like,
Right.
It has Death Touch. Everything else gets +1/+1. You know what I thought it did? I thought it gave all your zombies Death Touch. But that's a different thing.
That's a different one. Yeah.
But that's, whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life.
Yeah.
If you have Grim Grin and, what's it called? Gravecrawler, which I know is probably out of budget, but if you did have those cards, isn't that like an infinite combo? Oh, no, you need Rooftop Storm also. Anyways, it's a 4-card combo. Not even that good. But still, that ability is really great, though.
Yeah, because like I said, we're going to have a board full of zombie tokens. So, yeah, cool. You want to wrath the board? Fine. Person who wrath the board, I'm pointing all those points at you for wrathing the board.
Yep, classic.
Yeah.
And not to mention, if you have something like Blood Artist or whatever, that just doubles that.
Ooh, I don't in this
you
deck,
don't,
but
still, whatever.
I could. Great. One more to make them big. Havengul Runebinder. Now, this is a tricky balance here, right? Remember before I was alluding to the fact that there's a certain point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to recur this one, maybe these 2. I probably don't need these zombies because you need to exile creatures from your graveyard to make this work. But you get a permanent boost. It's 2 blue for a human wizard. This is a mono blue creature. This is a non-zombie. So this is one of the few creatures that doesn't get pumped in any way. But the activated ability for 2 and a blue, tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Cool, we've seen that a million times. Then put a +1/+1 counter on each zombie creature you control.
That's good.
Worth it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I will take...
I'll exile a creature for that.
Yeah, I'll exile a creature that I can never recast again to get this ability on all my zombies, for sure.
Wow, that is really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so exile a couple of them and make all your 2/2s into like 3/3s and 4/4s and 5/5s
right, and
eventually.
presumably they've already got a +1/+1 from some effect.
Right?
So, like, they start basically 3/3. This guy, at the end of your turn, I use him to put a counter on. Now they're all 4/4. At the beginning of my turn, now they're all 5/5. I attack with my huge team of 5/5s. That's going to end a lot of games.
That's nuts. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about the spiders again. So,
Ooh, the spiders.
So one of the ways we're going to get a lot of spiders out on the field is with a card called Spider Spawning. It's a great card. I'll talk about it a bit more later. But what we want to do in this deck is fill the graveyard because of that, right? So one of the best ways to fill the graveyard in this deck, and also just synergize is so great because it's a spider, is a card called Nyx Weaver. It's 1 black and a green, and it's a 2/3 enchantment creature, spider, with reach, of course. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. And then it says... pay 1, a black and a green. You can exile Nyx Weaver and return target card from your graveyard to your hand. That's target card.
Yeah.
Which is very important because if you get to your spider spawning, you can... Obviously, spider spawning is a great card. It has recursion. I'll just read it right. Well, no, I won't. Because I can't find it in the thing we have. So, but it has flashback. So what you want to do is you want to get in your graveyard, maybe bring it back a few more times with something like Nyx Weaver, with any kind of other recursion, and then when you're running out of that, then you can use it to flashback because then it's exiled, right? You don't.
Yeah.
You want to use it as many times before you can exile it, because it's a very important card. Because like I said, there are not a lot of ways to make spider tokens. Surprisingly, you'd think that that's one of the main things you do in this deck.
Yeah, that's just a limitation of the history of Magic.
It's very difficult.
Well, I guess that won't change now, and there's no reason to make more spiders going forward.
I think they will. I think
just like casual spiders.
They seem to be. Whenever now there's something with spiders going on, they've kept with the whole reach and big butt thing, but they've also been like subtly throwing in cards that make 1/2 spiders. with
Yeah,
reach.
that's becoming an official token.
Yeah, it is.
Right,
It
like
is.
the 1/1 white soldier, official.
Yeah, and I hope they keep it going because it's a cool little token and it's a fun thing to do in Commander.
Yeah, man.
So
Also want to open more in them packs.
and also just on top of maybe building around spider spawning a little bit, we just take advantage of the strengths of Golgari as a tribe, right? So a lot of cards are going to recur and dump things in the graveyard, and we'll get other bonuses from that. So Nyx Weaver is a great way to kickstart that. Keep going. Another great way to get cards in your graveyard, Satyr Wayfinder. This is a nice turn 2 play in Commander in any format, really. But in Commander, it's also good. It's 1 and a green for a 1/1. It says whenever when he enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them in your hand. Put the rest in your graveyard. So you're gonna dump 3 cards in your yard. You're gonna get a land. Sneakily, also in this deck, a few things to help ETB effects. One of them being graveyard recursion. One of them just being like a conjurer's closet or whatever. Because Ishkanah has a good enter to the battlefield ability.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So Satyr Wayfinder helps you get the Delirium as early as possible, as well as maybe being able to recur it if you need to mill some more. So it's a nice one.
Good.
And finally, in this category for filling up the old graveyard, we've got Dead Bridge Chant.
Oh, I forgot about this card. I love it.
If you don't have Delirium by the time Dead Bridge Chant is you're able to cast it, you will, because Dead Bridge Chant is a 6 mana enchantment for a black and a green, and it says when Dead Bridge Chant enters the battlefield, put the top 10 cards of your library into your graveyard. And then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So it's extra card draw, as well as just sometimes randomly putting a creature out for free, plus putting 10 cards in your graveyard. And you might think, well, what if it takes away the 1 enchantment you had in your graveyard, and that takes away your Delirium? Well, that is a risk, certainly. But hopefully the way it spins out, 10 cards is enough to keep you in Delirium for quite a while. And there's other ways to fill your yard, like I mentioned. So we're going to have Ishkanah's ability active at all times. Hopefully we get a spider spawning. We can benefit off that. And Dead Bridge Chant is just gravy after that.
Just gravy.
Just gravy. Just drawing extra cards, basically. Or playing creatures for free. I love this card.
Yeah, that's a great card.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, randomly hitting a creature, maybe that's not huge, but that's a great bonus.
It's a nice little bonus. I kind of would rather hit a creature every now and then than just always be drawing cards or something. Anyways, cool little card there.
All right, let's go back to Gisa and Geralf's love nest of zombies.
Yeah, that's what's happening there.
So I want to talk about some graveyard stuff, right? So here's just some stuff that interacts with the graveyard quite well. Since we also want stuff in our graveyard to take advantage of their ability to cast zombie creatures out of the graveyard. So what about Necromancer's Stockpile? It's an enchantment. It's 1 and a black, and for the activated ability of 1 and a black, discard a creature card, draw a card. If the discarded card was a zombie card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. So let's just walk through this. So Gisa and Geralf I'm going to pay 1 and a black. I'm going to discard a creature card that's a zombie. I'm going to draw a card, and I'm going to put a 2/2 black token out. And then I'm going to cast the card I just discarded, perhaps.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten all of that. For an extra 2 mana, I've got an extra token and an extra card draw. So it kind of cantrips and gives you a token off of every zombie spell for 2 mana.
If you have Gisa and Geralf out, this says 2 mana, draw a card, get a 2/2 zombie.
Yeah, basically, as a tack on as like a kicker for all of your zombie creatures.
Because discarding a creature card that's a zombie is obviously what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, and when you do that, Gisa and Geralf is just extending your hand into your graveyard anyways.
Yeah.
It's like when you have Carador, it's like sacking a creature or discarding a creature is not a disadvantage at all.
It's not a cost.
It's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So Necromancer's Stockpile. I remember when this card came out and just being like, it's okay, I guess. It's fine. No, it's wicked.
It's wicked in this
It's
deck.
so good.
It's wicked.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, great. So now let's talk about Epiphany of the Drowner. This is from this block. This is from Shadows at Innistrad. I'm in love with this card.
I've
used
this
it a few
card.
times. It's got an X in it.
You love those.
There's some psychological trickery in it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I love this card. For a deck that wants the graveyard full, it's an instant. costs blue X. Reveal the top X plus 1 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Either place is fine for us.
Right.
So, like, I could just randomly be like, okay, 1 pile, I'll split the creatures evenly, 2 here, 2 here, 2 lands here, 2 lands there, an enchantment here, enchantment there. Cool, go nuts. Doesn't matter what you give me. I'm going to basically get what's in the other one. It is also very interesting to me to decide, like, well, what if we start getting clever with our piles? What if I do 1 pile all the creatures and 1 pile everything else?
Well, that's what someone would have to do to you, right?
No, I make the piles and my opponent, pick the pile.
Oh, an opponent chooses one of the 2. Oh, okay.
Right? So what if I do all creatures, all my zombie creatures on one side and all my like lands, enchantments, and spells on the other side? What do you do?
I put all your lands, enchantments, and spells in the graveyard.
Because that's the only one I can't get. But now
right?
I have like a whole handful of creatures.
Right. Yeah.
So then if I know that's the plan, what if I just throw a couple of what if I basically, you know what I'm saying? Like I could go as far as putting 1 pile all the cards and 1 pile no cards. You obviously have to put all those in the graveyard. But it's like, well, now they're all in my hand now, all those creatures. So
yeah, that's interesting because so you need your commander in order to make that be good, right? So if it's outside of if all of a sudden it costs 8 mana to cast Gisa and Geralf and you're having some trouble with that, then
I'll make smarter piles.
Then you just need to make regular piles.
Yeah.
But if you have them out and they're protected or whatever, then
I
you
love it.
can do that weird stuff.
I love it.
That's great. Great card.
Great
just
card.
a bigger fact of fiction, right? Bigger fact or fiction, rather.
Yeah. Yeah, so many facts, so much fiction.
Yeah.
And what about this one's just Zombie Apocalypse? This card is great. It's a sorcery, 3 black, black, black. Return all zombie creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, then destroy all humans.
What?
So I do have a human, that dude who exiles zombie creatures tokens and puts +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
He is a human, so he will get exiled
So then
during this.
take this out.
He will destroy it.
Take this card out.
No, leave it in.
Right? You don't want that in there.
Return all zombie cards from your graveyard. So imagine I already did that. So what if in my Epiphany at the Drown Yard, I flip this in the piles, right? So now I'm just like, okay, so I'll put like this and a bunch of opposite all my creatures. So I'll put 1 pile is everything and the other pile is Zombie Apocalypse.
So then you're forcing everyone to just give you all those creatures in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you just give me Zombie Apocalypse, I'm getting them anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's nuts. Anyway. But here's what the card does. Oh, we already said that. I'm so excited. But just like, okay, and then just for a few stats, I wrote down. So like this deck currently runs 29 zombie creature cards that say zombie, and 11 cards that actively put cards in the graveyard. So I have a very good chance of this returning many creatures.
Wow, yeah. I like those odds.
I like those odds.
So last time with the spiders, back to Ishkana, we talked about filling up the yard because we need to activate the delirium, and if we get a spider spawning, we want to use that. But I also mentioned a little bit about the recursion and ETB effects, right? We're going to use Satyr Wayfinder and stuff like that. And for Ishkana also. So let's focus on what we're going to use for that. Number 1, Palace Siege. Always.
This is your signature card.
This is maybe my signature card, I guess.
I don't have the stats, but you've used this card more than any other card for
it's
sure.
So good. That's why.
It's so good.
3 and 2 black for an enchantment that says choose cons or dragons. Cons is you return a creature card on the upkeep from your graveyard to your hand, and dragons is the beginning of your upkeep. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I've used them for both sides too. That's the great thing about this card is I've had decks where you use it for the dragon side, but really mostly you're going to use it for the con side. You know, if you're dumping cards into your graveyard, you're going to get a lot of creatures in there, and there are a lot of creatures in this deck. So we'll just Palace Siege the best one back to our hand at the beginning of every turn. It's really a bit of a laugh. Palace Siege. That's how good it is. It's just a huge laugh.
I could probably run this in Gisa and Geralf as sort of a backup to their ability too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you don't really need to, but it would additionally even help. And that Palace Siege will help you get those guys that aren't zombies. I don't know how many you have, but
very few.
Very few. Anyways, Palace Siege is great, and it kind of almost goes in every black deck ever. A card that's very similar, and if you've bought some of the precons in the past couple of years, you probably know this card. If you somehow avoided buying those ones or buying the specific ones that this card is in, let me tell you about it. It's called Phyrexian Reclamation. It's 1 black for an enchantment, and it says pay 1 and a black and then pay 2 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
No taps.
No taps. Pay 2 life. No problem, right? That's easy for us. 40 life, not a big deal. So Phyrexian Reclamation is a card I'm finding I'm putting in a lot more decks these days.
It's so cheap.
It's so cheap, and recursion, creature recursion is so good. It's so good to have because the more uses you get out of your 1 card, right? You only get 1 of each card.
Yeah.
So having that around and putting useful abilities on creatures is what you want to do. In a green deck, certainly. In a graveyard deck is exactly what you want to do. So Phyrexian Reclamation is a great card. And finally, as far as ETB, this one's a little different. Conjurer's Closet. This is an EDH staple, I think. Enter the battlefield effects are, some of the best things in Magic, really, right? Like, rare is it now that you get any creature in Standard or in Modern or in any of those competitive formats. If you're going to play a creature, it's got to have an enter the battlefield effect, kind of, right?
Well,
there aren't very many vanilla.
But it is
these
shifting
days.
towards cast abilities.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So you can't counter, you can counter the creature, but you still get this effect. So it seems like the trend is actually leaning away from ETB effects.
Well, that's okay. Lead away from ETB effects. I'll keep all the ones we have around, and they'll stay nice and cheap for us. Conjurer's Closet is a way to abuse those for basically free once you get it out. So it costs 5. It's an artifact, but it says at the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. So on your end step, you'll just get whatever ETB effect you already have on the board. So I'm always a big fan of, even if any card is only good with your commander, I think it's very much worth its slot in the deck. I think it is no matter what.
Because you always have access to it.
Exactly. So Conjurer's Closet will always be good with Ishkanah if you have Delirium, but we've built the deck in such a way that Delirium should be very easy by turn 5
No
to have.
problem.
And certainly by turn 6 or 7. So Conjurer's Closet is going to be one of the main ways we're going to get those spider tokens out, because Ishkanah comes down with 3 spider tokens. There's also some other ones in there, and there's another card that I don't think I mentioned. I just reminded myself of it. Illusionist Bracers. I don't get into too much about talking about the activated ability on Ishkanah.
Yeah.
But that's the reason we want all the spiders out, okay, is because we want to pay 7 and then have someone lose, 10, 15, 20 life, whatever, how many spiders we have out. So Illusionist Bracers is the equipment that if you use an activated ability of the equipped creature, you just copy it. So it'll double up your Ishkanah activations, and it's only good with your commander in this deck, but that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Fully. So definitely include Conjurer's Closet and Illusionist Bracers in your Ishkanah builds, I think.
Ooh-wee.
There it is.
That's the sum of the decks. Some fun stuff. I like getting the Carador ability in a tribal setting.
Yep, me too.
I like that we kind of have access to blue on that now.
Yep. I like it. This is my favorite zombie commander now.
Yeah.
I like Gisa and Geralf. That the ability to extend your hand into your graveyard is so strong. It's one of the reasons why Carador is so good, right?
Yeah, that's the reason.
And with zombies, I mean, it's already such a good, strong tribe that it's very good. Very,
Strong
very
tribe.
playable. Strong tribe. And spiders, honestly, it's not the most competitive deck you're going to find, but it is a lot of fun. You do have to jump through some hoops and stuff, and you've got to kind of get creative with it.
Well, you know what? It's easy to jump through hoops when you got 8 legs.
Or is it way harder? You got to move all those legs out of the way.
But you got better jumps.
Okay, fair enough. You do
but
have
maybe
better jumps.
your jump power is better, but your jump accuracy is lower.
Your jump power and accuracy should be good. It's just the size of the hoops.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Because you got to crunch in all your legs.
Yeah, but spiders have little sticky legs.
That's true.
They
They
can
do.
scrunch down to nothing.
I think you're right. I think it's easier to jump through hoops when you have 8 legs.
That's what makes them so creepy. Their little sticky legs. Just have meaty legs. Don't
Yeah,
have
we're not afraid of meaty legs.
It would be less. Would it be less creepy or more creepier
If they had meaty legs.
spiders had meaty legs?
Oran Reef Recluse is a magic card. It's a spider. It's the one that has kicker, and then you can destroy something with flying. It has meaty legs. It's got meaty, big, furry legs.
No, not furry. I don't mean furry. I mean meaty.
I'll show the... oh, here it is. Oran Reef Recluse. So if you're watching the video, you can now see Oran Reef Recluse. See, he's got meaty legs. They've got like
no, I don't
sections
like
to them. They're like
Sectioned.
armored, sort of.
Yeah, I just want like chicken wings as legs. Like
What? What?
Simple.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. You want chicken wings as legs?
I feel like the thing that makes spiders so creepy is their little stick legs.
The little sticky legs.
Yeah, man,
You must hate daddy long legs.
I hate them, but I don't kill them because I don't want to make it rain. But if you gave them like chicken wing, beefy, meaty
Chicken
legs,
wing? I
like
don't understand.
Chicken wing shape.
You mean like drumsticks?
No, like the wing.
No,
part.
like the wing part? Like
Yeah.
the two boners?
Yeah, two boners.
You want a two boner? That's
Two
for a
boners.
leg?
Spider leg. I don't know. It just there's got to be a way to make them less creepy. That's all I'm saying. Evolution. Can we work on this? Can we
Work
make
on this,
spiders
yeah.
less creepy?
This is peak spider we're at right now with the sticky, creepy legs.
Ugh.
This is where we are, and I think spiders are loving it. I love a spindly spider leg.
No, man.
That's the kind that I'm into with spiders having.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
I don't want a meaty chicken fingered leg or whatever. Certainly not. Just a deep fried, sauced up spider leg.
Well, I mean,
Chicken
I'm
wing
not going to
leg?
eat them.
Well, I mean, if they're chicken wing leg, like
Well, I mean,
they got
if
the
they-
sauce on them, you might as well.
5-cent wing night. We don't say what kind of wing.
These are spider leg wings. I know that doesn't make any sense to you, but trust us, they're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. 25 cents a pound.
Yeah. There used to be a place in Whitby, Ontario that had penny wings,
Gross.
and people would go there and eat
No.
a million of them.
No, not fair. You at a certain point when food is that cheap, I'm like, get it away from me.
There's something wrong with
it.
this. Yeah.
I do not want a 25-cent hamburger.
No, you don't. You're
This
like,
is-
what is this?
There's something wrong with
It's like
this.
Demolition Man. Then you're eating rats.
Just charge me $1.50 and I'll be like, okay, that's bargain basement, but acceptable.
So anyone out there thinking of starting up that 25-cent hamburger business, don't.
Charge $1.50.
Have some dignity and charge over $1.
People would like to pay it.
99-cent hamburgers, all do that.
Okay, like little guys?
Little
yeah,
guys.
like a 4 gumball hamburger?
4 gumballs. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the 3 stars of the deck.
Okay,
here.
3 stars of that. These are the cards that just overperform. The best cards in the deck. The cards that you want in that opening hand, maybe. You just want to make sure
not
you can have
necessarily, but yes. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So for my deck, the zombie deck, let's talk about Geralf's Mind Crusher. Right, this guy came out in Dark Ascension. 4 blue, zombie horror, 5/5. Not bad. When Geralf's Mind Crusher enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. That's probably going to be you. I'm probably
Yep.
going to pick myself.
Probably going to be yourself. Yep.
It also has Undying. So that whenever this creature dies, you get to bring it right back from the graveyard with a +1/+1 counter on it, and you use as ETB again. I'm going to put another 5 cards in the graveyard. If this guy dies again, he's just living in the graveyard. But for any reason, if I'm like, I need more cards in my graveyard, Gisa and Geralf, cast him again.
He's living in the yard.
Yeah, Aerosmith. Yeah, man, this guy performs.
Yeah, he performs. He performs with a microphone in front of him with a bunch of rags on it. You're living in the yard. You can't stop yourself from milling.
Nice.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Number 2 star.
Number 2 star of the deck, Endless Ranks of the Dead. I don't know if this card spiked in price. We'll talk about it. It got expensive. But because zombies are now becoming more of a thing, everyone's excited about them. But this is a wicked zombie enchantment. Probably should go in every zombie deck.
Oh, yeah.
2 black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put X, 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is half the number of zombies you control, rounded down.
So you need 3 to get it going.
2 would work.
Oh, wait, yes. Why am I thinking 3? Why is that?
1 won't work.
Right.
Because 1 rounds down, like 0.5 rounds down to 0.
Why did I think that? That was really dumb.
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 will work.
But 2 will work, right? 2 gets you that first one, right?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
but like we will have way more than 2, right?
Yeah.
So like this is just insane. And like I said, we're making them into like 2/2s, 3/3s, maybe 4 and 5/5s. Like that becomes sick really quick. Cool. And then I think the number 1 star of the deck, Rooftop Storm, 5 and a blue, enchantment. You may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells you cast. That means with Gisa and Geralf out, I can just put any zombie from my graveyard into play 1 time a turn.
Yeah.
I can just do that.
It's pretty nuts that this card exists for 2 reasons. One, it was so laughably bad in Limited.
Yeah.
These will just be at the end of packs.
Yeah.
From what I hear, I didn't really draft a lot of Innistrad, but also that how crazy good it is for this tribal deck. But like it's not, so broken or something. You know what I mean? It's not like everyone's building zombie decks because you can cast them for free because of Rooftop Storm. Like they could print cards like this for other tribes, less powerful tribes, because zombies are one of the more powerful ones, I would think. And you know what I mean? So like this type of effect could be more widespread, but this is the only card that really does this.
But they know the zombie tribe is only going to get more powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Centaur tribe deck is never going to be anything that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? The werewolf deck got a little bit more powerful, but like I don't think that deck's going to crush out of things eventually.
Right.
But they will always be making more zombies. The zombie deck will always get incrementally better. Like this card will eventually become broken.
Yeah, I mean, it's already part of like an infinite combo, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, it's a 3-card combo, so it's not like it's particularly abusive or anything. But you, with your commander and anything that like when it enters, it deals damage or something like that.
Sure.
If that exists,
but my commander can only do it once per turn.
Right. That's why. Okay.
But even still, like
that's why you need Gravecrawler.
Crypt Breaker, right? Crypt Breaker, I get to tap 3 untapped zombies to like pay a life and draw a card. It's like cool. Pay a life, draw a card. Oh look, zombie free. Oh, I still got some zombies on the board. Cool. Another card, zombie free. Another card, zombie free.
It's definitely a very, very good card.
Very good card. Number 1 star of the deck.
Number 1 star. Okay. Let's take a look at the 3 stars for Ishkana, Graph Widow. This one's surprising, but you'll understand why it's good. It's called Assault Formation. 1 and a green for an enchantment that says each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power.
Ooh.
Very important in this spider deck, actually. Very important because spiders are low power. They're 1s, they're 2s, they're 3 power, and then they're, like I mentioned, big butts.
Meaty
4s,
butts.
5s, 6s, 7s. We saw a 2/7 earlier,
and a 5/7. Yeah.
So Assault Formation just turns your spiders into monsters, absolute monsters. So it's very good for that reason alone. It also has 2 other activated abilities. One is target creature with Defender can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender, which is not going to come up. There are 0 Defenders in this deck. But the other one is not too bad. 2 and a green. Creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. So this is a way to massive pump all your spiders and go for a big attack.
Yeah.
It is very, very good.
So for 1 and a green, this enchantment already turns all your 1/2 spider tokens into effectively 2/2s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's already pumping your spiders that way, and all of them, right?
And 3 more mana, and then everyone gets another effective power.
Exactly. Which is also protecting them from being killed, right?
Yes.
So when you pump the toughness on these with Assault Formation, you're pumping both, actually.
It's great.
It's really, really good.
I forgot this card existed. It's excellent.
I remember there were some people trying to build a deck around Assault Formation in Standard at the time.
Ooh.
When this was out. Wait, is it still? No, it was during when Khans was out, because there were some big walls or something that you could use. Anyways, Assault Formation, very good card in this deck. Very, very good card. Number 2, I mentioned it a lot earlier, and let's finally get to talk about it here. It's Spider Spawning. I think this is the card that inspired Ishkana, right?
Has to be.
Has to be. It's green-black. It's got a green converted mana cost. It's got black and flashback, so it's 4 and a green for a sorcery that says put a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach onto the battlefield for each creature card in your graveyard, and then you can flash it back for 6 and a black.
The mana costs on this card are the same as on Ishkana.
That's right. That's awesome. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
That's so good. So spider spawning is the sister card to Ishkana.
Yeah.
It's in theme and in functionality for this deck. You want to fill your graveyard for both purposes. For Ishkana, for Delirium, for this, to make a bunch of tokens, and then you hopefully make a million and then not drain them, but make them lose life for all your spiders. So it's very, 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 very good.
Wicked.
Definitely include some tutors so that you can find your spider spawning as quickly as possible. But the number 1 star of the deck is a card that I mentioned at the top. It's called Arachnogenesis.
Ooh.
You might think that this card is maybe not as good as spider spawning because it requires a specific time for it to be used, but I really think its functionality is over the top good. So it's 2 and a green for an instant that says put X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. So, you're going to wait till someone's swinging at you with a lot of creatures, obviously.
Yeah.
The fact that it's an instant means that you're going to cast it and then block and then maybe blow somebody out or whatever. But this is all your spiders also, don't forget. This isn't just a token maker. This is a one-sided fog and can wipe someone's board if they decide to attack you with it.
Yeah.
All your spiders will be protected from damage. They'll still deal their damage. Maybe you've got Assault Formation out and then it's like they're just dead. Or maybe you've got the black archetype that gives all your spiders Death Touch.
Yeah.
Which is another very good card in this deck because low power, high toughness is great for Death Touch, right? So anyways, Arachnogenesis is just an amazing card. The functionality on it is such that if you need it to make a bunch of tokens, you can. But also if you need it to stay alive, you can. It's really, really good. I love it.
I think my shower casts this card.
Your shower casts Arachnogenesis?
Yeah, I'm always finding spiders in our shower.
Are you really?
Yeah, I don't know if they're coming up the drain or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they're probably coming up the drain. You know what you need?
Somewhere down there is an Arachnogenesis.
Yeah, it's preventing a lot of combat damage in that drain.
Yeah, man, I did 0 combat damage to my shower.
Even though you were punching the hell out of it.
I've been using so many scrubbing bubbles.
You know what I got is one of those little things that stops hair going down the drain.
Oh yeah, I need one of those.
Gotta get one of those.
Yeah, they're little. They're little spiders.
They're just like and then they stop any bugs from crawling up.
Gross.
And also stop
sticky legs.
Steph's hair from clogging up your drain.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, it's a routine unclogging.
Yeah, you gotta get one of these things.
Yeah.
Get to Canadian Tire. Get yourself a drain plugger thing, whatever it is.
Plug them drains.
So anyways, yeah, those are the spider cards. Those are the ones you want to build around. Those are the ones that help the deck be the best.
Cool. Are there any surprises or discoveries in the decks?
Yeah, we got some, yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing this card before. It's called Gravespawn Sovereign. I don't know how. I've searched for zombies before, but this card is amazing. 4 black for a 3/3 zombie. Tap 5 untapped zombies you control. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Wow.
That's huge. And it's not very uncommon to have 2 or 3 activations worth of zombies on this.
It's like the one for the soldiers that you tap 5 soldiers or something and you kill something.
Oh yeah. Tap 3 white creatures and you get to kill.
No, it's like tap 5 soldiers. There's one that's tap 5 soldiers. So maybe I wonder if that's
there's an executioner. There's like a hangman's noose that's like tap 5 humans or something, and you get to exile something or kill something. Yeah. So this is the thing they've done before. This tapping a bunch of things, but I don't know why I've never seen this before. It's and this is end step instant speed activation kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not to mention you can go into any graveyard. So if there's something awesome out there, thank you very much. But also, I'll do my own graveyard if I'm just I want more zombies so that I can do this even more next turn.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, he doesn't tap to do it. Just tap 5 zombies. If you got 10 zombies, there's 2 free creatures from graveyards.
And this gets around Summoning Sickness.
Yep.
It's that tricky way, and you can tap him because he is also a zombie.
Yep.
So you actually only need 4 in addition to the Gravespawn Sovereign. How have we not talked about this card before?
I don't know. He's amazing.
Because I even did a zombie deck, didn't I, once?
You did Grimgrin,
yeah. I must have had that in there. Maybe
you
not.
You must have.
Maybe
I don't
Maybe
know.
I missed it.
I'm baffled as to how I missed this.
What a great card.
Yeah.
For me, really, Assault Formation was the one that jumped out at me and was like, wow, I know about this card, but of course, in a spider deck, it's so great. But one that really helps the Delirium side of things is a card called Font of Fertility. As we all know, enchantments can be the ones that are the most hard to get into your graveyard. Font of Fertility helps that out big time. It's a 1 green enchantment, and then it says, for 1 and a green, sacrifice Font of Fertility, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, shuffle your library. So it just gives you... I mean, when's the last time you did something on turn 1? You know what I mean? This way you can play Font of Fertility and then it's a rampant growth after that, right?
Yeah.
So the installment plan makes this card better than the 3 mana it actually costs to do it, right? So Font of Fertility is a neat little card. I remember when this came out, I was like, oh, I'll probably play this in EDH because if you run a rampant growth, this card is basically as good, and for anything that wants to recur enchantments and stuff, you can do it. So
Good call.
Keep an eye on this card. When it's got a lot of uses. I think it can be really good.
Yeah.
Font of Fertility. Yep.
Drink deep and know the path to the heart of the wilds.
That's what I do.
That's the flavor text.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were just saying that. For sure.
Drink
I didn't.
deep, everybody.
Yeah.
Drink deep.
And know the path to the heart of the wilds. Okay. Well, that's the whole deck. That's everything.
Yeah.
That's the surprises. That's everything. That's the stars. So before we get to the budget report, though, we got to talk about our sponsor, Wizard Tower, again, and how you got to get over there, put your order in, use Tower of Brews. You get 5% off an order of $15 or more.
I'm just so proud of our coupon code, Tower of Brews. It's such an honor to have a coupon code.
Yeah, I know, right? Big thanks to Jillian for coming up with that too.
Yeah,
That was her thought.
Yeah.
The wording on that. But so instead of just telling you all the things that you might have heard in the first ad again, I think we should just read this email.
Sure. We got a lovely email from listener Joel K. Last name
There's a
hidden.
room in your house.
Okay. So we'll just read it out. This is the email he wrote to us. So I need to give some mad props to Wizards Tower. Like one day before Canada's postal went postal, I was on the Canadian Wizards Tower website putting in an order. I had no idea about the potential postal issue. I was not on the U.S. site because of inventory issues. After compiling my list, then I found poor shipping options during checkout. Confused, I called the store. I have ordered from them a couple of times due to you guys, that means us, and have always been happy with the service, but $25 to ship $50 worth of cards is insane.
That is insane.
I agree.
Yeah.
They explained the issue. Crap. After like 10 minutes chatting possible solutions with someone, sorry, name escapes me, I was saved by Dave, I think it was.
It was
the
Dave.
owner. Dave is the owner, yes, okay. He was standing next to the fellow I was on the phone with and volunteered to take my order with him to the U.S. store and ship it from there. He was making the trip anyway soon and wouldn't have a problem shipping it from there. I received my cards today. I just wanted to say how awesome a store they are and how huge customer service is to me. Me too, Joel.
Yeah, man, me too, of course.
They went way above what they needed to get me my order and at no extra expense to myself. I don't buy from TCG anymore because I'm sick of having issues with quality. Shipping, bad vendors, mad props to them for caring. Anyway, super awesome sponsor you have. Love the cast. Go buy from the tower, everyone. Joel.
There you have it. Joel.
Thank you, Joel. That's very kind of you.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Dave and Wizard Tower, for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and so we had a chance to meet Dave here at the GP Toronto a couple months back, and yeah, I gotta say, like, that guy's all heart.
Oh yeah, it's a guy who cares about the game and the people who use his store and everything.
Yeah,
which is very good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
You can order from Wizards Tower knowing that you're ordering from someone who like cares about the game and his clients and his customers, as opposed to someone who just wants to make a couple quick bucks off of a couple of nerds.
And I won't name names because I don't want to sling any mud, but at that same GP, do you remember? Were you around when this happened? We saw the owner of another store and how they were acting, and we were like, wow, I'm pretty glad I don't use them anymore. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
So I don't want to sling any mud or anything, but yeah, let's just say not everybody has that same feeling, right? Not everyone cares as much and is willing to go, sort of outside of the realm to fix an issue like this, like you had, right? Which is completely out of their hands, right? It's Canada Post is, going on strike or getting locked out or whatever.
Oh,
so.
who even knows?
Exactly. So that's great to hear, and thanks for writing us, Joel. That's great. I know Dave listens to the show for sure, but I think we'll forward that on to him just to get in, let him have a look at it as well. Okay, it's time for the budget report.
This is the part of the show where we take all of the cards and rip their sticky little legs off of them and see which ones are still able to make it into the deck.
No, and which ones have chicken leg, chicken wing legs?
Which ones have chicken wing legs and which ones have sticky little creepy legs?
Okay, I like that one.
Okay, so my deck, the Gisa and Geralf deck, comes in at a $48.98. This is subject to change because the prices on the Eldritch Moon cards are fluctuating a lot right now, especially Crypt Breaker. So number one most expensive card in the deck is Grimgrin. He's getting up there. He's a few bucks now. Grimgrin is the former most popular zombie general in Dimir colors, I would say. He's pushing $4 right now. So it says Grimgrin Corpseborn enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. You get to sacrifice another creature, and you get to untap him and put a +1/+1 counter on it. You're going to be sacking him one of your endless zombie tokens, so no problem. And whenever he attacks, destroy target creature defending player controls, then put another +1/+1 counter on him. Great. That's a great tip. This guy's just a very good card, so no wonder he's creeping up. Next most expensive card, Dictate of Erebos, right? It's sort of a black staple card. It's pushing $3, right? It's almost 12 gumballs. It's got Flash, 3 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. We do enough sacrificing in this deck that this is just great advantage for you. And then the third most expensive card is Crypt Breaker, as I said. Pushing $250 right now. This is the card that lets you tap 3 untap zombies to draw a card and lose a life. Or you can just discard a card and put a creature token onto the battlefield. Yeah, this card so far is, $250, but that could go up a ton if there's a real deck there, or it could go down a bunch if there isn't a deck there. I don't know.
Yeah, this one is definitely the most fluid
volatile
right now. Yeah, volatile. There you go. Because people are trying to see if there is that zombie deck in standard right now.
Eldritch Moon is so new. We can't peg all these yet.
Has there been a big event yet? I don't even know.
I think it's coming up this weekend. I think it's the GP weekend. I think Montreal is also...
I guarantee you Crypt Breaker's going to be in decks, right? People are going to try it.
Someone's going to bring a zombie deck for sure. The question is whether or not it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, here's hoping it's not good, I guess. So we can keep those prices down for us for a bit. Or you know what? Crack them open at your drafts when the prices go up and then sell them and buy them back later.
Yeah, man.
That's the
commander's way.
That's the commander way, exactly. So for me, the spider deck is not expensive. I got it at $43 basically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room to play with there if you're just trying to keep it under 50.
And that's still room if Ishkana becomes standard playable and goes up by a lot. There's still room to keep this $50.
Definitely. Actually, did I even include Ishkana? I don't even know. Sometimes I forget to because the way our thing formats the lists. Okay, let's see. Ooh. Yes, I did not include Ishkana. So it did go up. Ishkana at the time of reading this is $8, $8.25. Ooh. So Ishkana definitely most expensive card in the deck. But like we said, when we do these pre-release / new set episodes, we kind of want to ignore that just because we want to build with the new stuff. We want to get excited about that.
We want to play with the new toys.
So, you pull one of these in a pre-release, pull one of these at your draft, hang on to it and build this deck. But yeah, $8 would definitely be the most expensive card. Other than that, though, we've got the most expensive card in the deck right now is Strynik Resonator. It's a 2-mana artifact that says 2 and tap them. Copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So the reason this is in here is exactly what I was saying before, is just because of Ishkana's delirium effect. Whenever you cast her, you want to use Strynik Resonator and get more of those spider tokens. There's also a lot of, like I mentioned, ETB effects, so we'll be able to use it there as well. But really, it's just in there to get those extra spider tokens, and it's worth it for that, right?
Get them tokes.
And you'll get the added bonus off of it as well. But for this price right now, like, is it worth it? Is it worth the $265? I think so. I don't think $265 is too much for this card.
You know what? This is becoming a Commander staple also.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Right? And it's creeping up. So if you don't have one, get one.
The number 2 most expensive card in the deck is Arachnogenesis. This was our first star. It's about $250. I think it's well worth it, and I think if you don't have your copies of Arachnogenesis, I think get on it. I think this is a very good card. It's basically the best fog, right? Like,
Yeah.
like ever, and in addition to whatever else it does. Finally, we have for our third most expensive card is Cryptghast.
Cryptghast, eh?
So Cryptghast is a great card. It's 3 and a black for a spirit, for a 2/2 spirit that has extort on it, which is nice. And then it has the ability, whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add black to your mana pool. So this will just help us ramp up. It'll help us with Ishkanah's second ability. She's currently in and around the same price as these other cards at like $250. You can find it kind of for all over the place right now, even as high as $3. Same thing with this card. It keeps going up.
Yeah, we're looking at a website with like a graph representation of the price, and it is a straight line with an upward angle.
Yeah, exactly. And it actually shows it just went up a bit right before Eldritch Moon. Oh, no, that's Vintage Masters.
Eternal Masters.
Eternal Masters, rather. Interesting. I wonder why. So, yeah, it's just been constantly climbing, and even though it's been reprinted. So, definitely worth it. Maybe not so much in this deck just because I don't like... I mean, it's a 2-color deck. I think it's still worth it. But
yeah,
Cryptghast is a great card, and same thing. If you don't have your Cryptghast, grab a few before they become $5 because this is a card that's going to survive reprints. I really think so.
get your ghasts.
Get your ghasts. Okay. That's it. That's the show.
Phew. Wow.
Are you relieved?
No, I'm just like this one took a lot out of me. All those imagining all those spiders.
Yeah. You creeped out by spiders? I love spiders.
You really?
I really do. I really do love
you
spiders.
You didn't marry a spider.
I didn't marry a spider. I didn't marry everything I loved.
Because you could only...
I also didn't marry a hamburger.
Oh. I could maybe.
I love spiders because they eat and kill like mosquitoes and stuff.
No,
and
I love that. I love that about
that's
them.
The best. I would have spiders as pets.
Ugh.
I mean, I can have spiders as pets. I don't know why I said I would.
A tarantula?
Oh, yeah. See, tarantulas, that's not like fair. You can't just let a tarantula run around your house. I don't and why do you want to keep this little thing in this weird little like glass box?
It's like having a big dog in a small apartment.
Yeah, it's no fun. Like, let them run around. So, I mean, when I say that, I mean
run
like
around.
I'd like to have other spiders just crawling around, killing things, which you do in your house.
Yes. I never kill a spider when I see it unless it's like you're nowhere near bugs. You're not doing any good here. Like my shower.
Yeah.
You don't need to be here.
So there's, those like people in sort of our area in North America probably know about those little yellow spiders that like will build the little, their webs are like little, like sacks. You know what I mean? They're like,
okay.
They're like little round holes or whatever.
Yeah.
They're called yellow sack spider. Those are poisonous, but they don't bite people. But if they bite you on your neck, you can get like sick from it. Like you won't die, but So
why your neck? Because the skin is thin.
I guess it's because it's close to your brain, and that's where the blood. There's a lot of blood moving around in your neck there.
Ugh.
If they bite you anywhere close to on a main artery or whatever, that's probably where the.
If they bite your jugular.
Yeah, if they bite you through your jugular, but they're such tiny little spiders.
Yeah.
But I looked that up once because I was like, what kind of spider is this?
At least we don't live in Australia where...
Good God.
They have deadly, deadly things.
Oh, and we got sent something from Australia. I should bring that up. I tweeted about it, but here, let me run and get it right now real quick.
Yeah. This is cool.
Here it is. I sat on the microphone. Okay, so this came from... What was his name? Jesse, right?
Jesse Durant,
Jesse
right?
Durant, our boy. I'm holding this up for the video. Oh, wait. That's right. You can't
Too much glare.
What a joke. Anyways, you can't see it, but what it is, it's a it's an oath of Gideon that's been altered to say oath of brews, and there's a little speech bubble, and it says, "I swear no more than $50," and then it's it's no longer a legendary enchantment. It is now a legendary podcast.
Oh, the best.
So thanks, Jesse, for that. We love this, and what should we do with this? We got to frame it or something.
Yeah, we got to do something with it.
What I want to do is, we used to record in my office, and we had a little picture behind us, and I put cards in it. I think maybe we'll try and do something.
Yeah,
to get this going.
That's a great idea
for the video podcast. Anyways, that's the show.
Hoo-wee.
Eldritch Moon.
EMN.
Yeah, it's out now.
It's out. You can draft it. I drafted it once already.
How'd you do? You did good.
I 3-0'd it.
Nice.
I had a sweet black-red build.
Yes, I saw this on Twitter.
Just like the madness has been upped. There's a lot more madness.
Really?
There's a lot more madness cards that you're like, yeah, I'll play that.
Weird. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. I thought the opposite would happen.
No, and madness enablers are so good now too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, great. Well, awesome. Get out there, draft the set, pull some of these sweet legendaries.
Sweet legendaries.
There's just also a lot of good cards for Commander, period. It seems like it almost seems like they built half of this set around Commander. If you want to go and listen to a good podcast that talks about that, you probably already listened to Command Zone and Commanderin, but go check out their the set reviews and stuff like that. They're very
they go into each card. It's almost as if, because I remember a lot of limited sets had a lot of cards that were just like, oh, this card is pure garbage for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe now they're like, well, okay, so this card will not be good in standard. We accept that. Mm-hmm. But there's no reason we can't make it great for Commander and still make it not good for standard and not dominant in limited.
Right.
And just so you might as well give it value.
And I think they kind of realize more and more that it's fun to be able to play with those cards.
And to touch on a point we made at the beginning of the podcast, right? Certain cards are just creeping up in value. Cards we used to call staples. I guess we still call them staples. They're just getting expensive, but they keep giving us cards that's like, this is a happy substitute, right?
True.
It doesn't do the same thing. It's not as powerful for sure. It'll never cost the $10, but I will happily pay a gumball for this one rather than $10 for the other one and get 80% of the value that the other card provided.
Yep.
No problem.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
All about building these budget decks.
There's no reason you need to play this format with a single $500 deck, and that's all you play, and you get bored of it, and whatever. You can have a new deck every couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's all we do.
Yeah, man. We got so many decks.
Okay, so yeah, check us out. Check these decks out on tappedout.net/user/commandersbrew. You can tweet us suggestions for future episodes, which we've taken lots of from listeners and viewers. That's at Commanders Brew. Individually, I'm at Andy Hulbone.
I'm at Sean Tabaris.
You can also shoot us an email, which like that great one we got from our boy Joel.
Yeah.
We're commandersbrew@gmail.com. And get on iTunes. Give us a rating.
Give us a rating.
Always helpful. Go to our Facebook page also.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/commandersbrew.
Yeah, and if you really feel like supporting the cast in another way, we've got a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/commandersbrew.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, if you're like, hey man, love your work, I want to help even more, not gonna say no.
Yeah, no, you can toss $1 in on an episode or two, whatever. That'd be great.
We'll send you some perks.
We got some good. Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some stickers. We got some coasters. We got T-shirts.
Hilariously altered cards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't forget about those. So anyways, thanks for listening this week. We'll have a Commander interview coming up, but until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of G&G Crafts.
G&G Crafts with your host, Gisa
and Geralf.
Well, Geralf, this week is a very exciting week. We're crafting with zombies as usual.
As every week, Gisa, we'll be creating zombies from the corpses of others.
Yeah.
Now, normally you are all used to having Sean and Andy here doing a Commander interview.
Yeah, they graciously gave us this spot to promote our own show because they had to go chop a tree down.
Yeah, they had to go use one of those old-timey saws where was a guy on each end of it.
Yeah, it's like a long rectangle with triangles.
That's what a saw is.
Yeah.
I use a saw every day, and
Yeah.
I've used a saw in today's featured craft, where we build a huge zombie with a wing and 2 arms and a chicken leg and
Yeah.
a chicken wing leg.
Yeah, today we're going to take regular legs and turn them into chicken wing legs. So I, as usual, will be doing the digging up. So as you can see here, I like to use a Thompson 2-pound shovel. It's an aluminum head, great for cutting through the ground and cutting through bone if you need to split open a leg.
And in this particular digging adventure, we didn't want to use a spade.
No.
You're not using the 3 or 4 inch spade on this one. Not enough digging power, really.
No, yeah.
And you don't want to pierce any of the legs.
No. You want them intact. I really love the volume, the coverage you can get out of this shovel. So here's a couple of legs that I dug up earlier. And Geralf's going to show you how to stitch them together into a meaty chicken wing.
So what we want to do, if we're starting off our zombie, is get a nice meaty torso.
Oh, yeah. So meaty.
You can find these just about anywhere.
This one's pretty fresh, so it hasn't decomposed much.
Not as much decomposition, which is great. It'll allow the skin to graft and allow the meaty chicken wing leg to really stick to the torso. So where these other legs have previously been, we just remove those because we don't want a normal man's leg. We got these weird chicken wing legs
Yeah.
that I've also fashioned a little earlier. So here they are. As you can see, they're just kind of bunches of skin and meat.
Yeah. And while you work on stitching them together, I'm going to create a nice honey garlic barbecue sauce to go on those chicken wing legs.
because they're chicken wing legs.
Yeah.
You gotta sauce them.
You got to sauce
You
them.
gotta sauce them. Now, I'm going to add 8 legs to this zombie because I'm just feeling a little frisky today.
Oh, you're going to make it into a spider.
We're going to make it into a bit of a chicken leg or chicken wing leg spider.
Oh, we didn't talk about making a spider person out of this.
Well, I mean, is that okay with you? I mean,
No, yeah, sure. I just would have liked to be mentally prepared for making a spider.
well, I mean, how
today.
much mental preparation do you need, really?
Well,
I mean,
you know,
it's
I just
simply
need
just
to-
you've seen the other things I've made. I made guys with wicked wings and
No, yeah,
all
wicked-
kinds of arms.
No,
and
listen, brother,
sometimes
love
I
the
add
work
2
you do.
heads. I mean, is that too much? Do I need to tell you
It's not-
beforehand?
No, it's not. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, spiders is my
I just
button.
think my sister would be a little more,
Spiders are my button. So
supportive.
I just wish that you give me a little warning before you break it on to me. That's all.
It's your button. Spiders are your button. You
Well,
dig
how-
around cemeteries all day, and
Yeah.
you're afraid of a spider.
I'm not saying I'm afraid of it. It's just my button.
It's your.
Spiders are my button.
So if you have a crafting partner and their button is a spider, make sure you tell them beforehand.
Yeah. Well,
I suppose,
let's just be decent.
even though maybe they're just being a little unreasonable.
Well, let's just be decent people and respect other people's buttons.
Okay. Well,
Respect other buttons.
you know what? Anyways, here's one I made earlier, a huge spider.
Oh boy, see.
And this is the
I don't
finished
like
product.
it.
Look
I
at
don't
these
like it.
meaty legs. I have included some spindly ones too, just because that's how I like them.
You
And I
like
don't
them
always have to
spindly.
listen to my sister.
No, you
I
don't.
can do my own things
You
sometimes.
don't. You don't. You certainly don't. But we know. Do I gotta play the age card? I'm older.
Anyways, so this
I'm
has
older.
been crafts with Gisa and Geralf.
G&G Crafts. Okay.
We hope you'll join us next week
So we'll probably make buttons.
for zombies.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.